And again, drawing from the earth, reaching to the sky, expanding. Let's do a couple more. Last one. So since our time is short, I'm not going to do all the warm-ups, but I like to do the warm-ups that really start to bring some life and ki and run it through us, get that aliveness going. So let's do this warm-up a little bit as we stand here. And as we do it, let's have a sense that the ki is flowing through our arms and fingertips. And we're bringing it up from the earth and inviting it to come down from the sky and from around us and just radiating aliveness. Think of it as light. Just let it flow through us, around us, out from us. A few more. Just if you can draw with our imagination the sense that we're shining light all around us. All right, let's stop for a moment and we'll just stand in that. Just get a sense and a feeling for the ki flowing through our body, around us. Yeah. And then I want to work a little bit with the rowing exercise and see if we can just do the same, just draw some energy up from the earth, bring it from through us, from around us. And as we row, just having that sense, using the legs, shoulders are relaxed, sending the ki out and gathering it back. And just let a smile come to your face, because when we do that, we're practicing a little more with joy. And the picture of O Sensei behind me, sense of loving that we're part of this art. A few more, really working the energy. And then let's reach up, take some ki from the sky, bring it down, focus it into our hara point. Nice concentration into our hara point, focusing. Nice. And now let's do the other hamni. So we just do some rowing, letting that flow through us, bringing it up from the earth, inviting it down from the sky. Imagine it's coming through our backs, our arms, sending it out, gathering it. A few more, bringing a smile to our face, because we're so fortunate to be part of this art in this community. A few more. Okay, one more time, reaching up, gathering, bringing it down, focusing into our hara point. Let's stop for a moment and just stand in that. Just have a sense of that aliveness coming through us, and then the strength within us. So what I'd like to work with today is that sense of working with different qualities. It is said that O Sensei worked, and some of the deshi that studied with him said sometimes he was like a rock, sometimes he was like water, sometimes he was like fire, sometimes he was like air. And so I'd like to play a little bit with that, and just using this Aikido move that we all know something about, just bringing it up. So using that move, let's start first and take a few passes on what it's like to be solid, to be like a rock, to have that strength. And just invite that quality to come through us. And then doing this move for a moment and then standing in it. And just that power, that strength, that earth-like quality. And just on your own, you don't have to do it in exactly the same timing as I'm doing it. But just what's it like to draw? Imagine you have an uke and just that kind of power. Maybe you remember one of your teachers who is a rock like the earth. What's it like to draw that rock energy up? And let's do 2 more. And now I just want to shake that out a little bit, and I'm going to go for water. You remember, if you've been to Tanabe in Japan, there's a statue of O-sensei just standing like that. And I always thought that was so powerful, that he was just that way. So let's invite a little watery feeling to come through us. If you want to just take a second and think water. If you've ever had experience training Aikido and you've been with a teacher or someone who's just watery, and every time you connected with them, there was that kind of flow. So let's draw that up, that watery feeling, watery. And then just notice what it's like in your hands and fingers and toes, drawing up from the earth. Just like a water flowing all around. It's that watery feeling. What's it like to do Aikido with that watery quality? To do these classic moves. It's just a way of being. Let's do 2 more. All right, and let's just kind of shake that one out. Let's go for air. What's it like to have an airy quality? Maybe you've had a teacher or an experience where you were attacking a teacher and suddenly they were like air. I certainly experienced that with Endo Sensei. I would go to grab him and it would be like warm air. There was nothing there. So if there was an airy quality, maybe warm air, or you decide, and then draw the energy, do that movement with the airy quality. What's that like? Notice as you're doing that, if it changes your breath at all or what you see. There is airiness running through us and around us. 2 more. Last one, with the airy quality. All right, let's do 1 more and then we'll have a check-in. Fire. Perhaps we've had that experience of working with somebody that felt fiery, just almost like everything was going to just burst into flames. And take a moment and invite some fire to come through us, fire around us. What's it like to manifest fire quality? And then let's do our movement with fire. Notice if it feels different and how it is in the end of that movement. It's fiery quality. It's like the heat, almost explosive. Fire running through us and around us. Two more. All right, so I'm going to stop here and have a little check-in to see if anybody noticed there was something different with those qualities, and maybe you've had a glimpse of that in your training previously with the teacher. You've been able to do it for yourself for a moment, and what you noticed about the qualities if one was easier than another.
Wendy Sensei, for me, I could notice different qualities in all of them, but for me, the easiest one was fire.
Fire, yeah. And we all have a little thing. I think that makes it, we're a little more tuned to that in ourselves. So fire. I tend to relate with a watery part. I can do the others, but the watery, that kind of flowy, watery thing is familiar for me. Anyone else have a quality that you resonate?
I also noticed the fire, you had a different, it was like the back of your hands, the top of your hands were like glowing red, and you had a different feeling during the fire than the others as well.
Yeah.
Interesting. Very cool.
My entry started differently for each of the elements.
Well, I think it's very, at a basic level, we're learning form. And then at a certain point in Aikido, it's the internal quality of our Aikido. And I know that I've touched teachers that have totally changed my internal quality just by putting my hands on them. And so I think for us, as we develop, and in these times when we're not able to practice with each other as much, how do we start to develop the capacity for these qualities within us so that when we're back on the mat training, we have ways to engage that besides just one way of doing it, we have a broader capacity to engage. So I think it's kind of fun to play with that. One I've been playing with a little bit is diamond, that diamond quality, sharp, brilliant. What's it like to be brilliant? And I think it's important for us to have a sense that we have the capacity to bring this through us. It's always been my experience in the last 20 years of Aikido that I don't do it, it comes through me. And I sometimes, think of O-sensei behind me, and I invite that energy to come through me or something to come through me. So let's switch a little bit, and instead of these qualities and that, let's do another round, and let's work with it more with that sense of what's it like to really throw something out there. So if you might think of a technique where someone's coming in with a yokomen, boom, and you're responding like a kokyu throw from a yokomen. And so it's that same kind of a thing. It's like, how do I have that feeling where I can put something out, which is different than just putting my hand here. I'm going to really put something out, put it through there. So let's work a little bit with a couple more qualities and play with that. And this time it's going to be that sense, if somebody's coming in with a yokomen, in our imagination, I'm imagining that person coming in, what is it that I can extend with? What's the quality? And I'm going to encourage us, instead of finding it here, see if you can have a sense it's flowing through you. You can draw from Sensei talked a lot about heaven and earth. And in Tibetan Buddhism, which I study, we talk a lot about heaven and earth energy too. So how do I draw from the heaven energy, pull from the earth, let it come through me, boom, and have that ability to be very clear in sending something out. I sometimes think that feeling of just what's it like to, boom, put something out there, send it through. So let's take a couple of minutes and let's work with a crystal diamond quality and sending that out. And then we'll switch up and work with another quality. So taking a moment, imagining that you have someone's coming at you with a yokomen and that feeling. And so as they come, letting it come through you, letting it come from above, from below, and then your response, and you step into it, boom. And just that feeling of sending them back. What's that like? And of course, always with the feeling of warmth and inclusiveness, since they're part of us. Our ukes are always part of us. So taking a couple of minutes and crystal quality, that bright, clean, sharp, and warm, loving quality. So imagine the yokomen's coming. What's it like to take a moment and step into it? Crystal, bringing it from the sky, bringing it up from the earth, diamond. Letting a diamond come through. Up from the earth and the sky, pressure in the earth. All right, and so after the diamond, let's do one more, and let's do a sense of, and this was a kind of a fun one that I've been playing with, smoke. So if there's a feeling of smoke, what's that like? It's almost ethereal quality. So connecting to a feeling of smoke or mist, when you have the fog, what's it like? To send them back with the fog, with the mist, with the smoke. Yokomen's coming, moving in. Smoke coming up from the earth, mist. Couple more. One more. Okay, so I'm going to check in again to see if you noticed any different qualities, or one was more familiar, a kind of diamond quality, that sharp, bright quality, versus that smoke or mist quality. You know, it's kind of out there, but if anyone has a thought or comment.
I thought it was very interesting that all of them, when you actually imagined a diamond or smoke, it still gave you a lot more power. They were all very powerful versus just putting your arms up, like you said, like in a regular reaction. So I thought that was very interesting.
Great, thank you. Yes, I definitely think it enhances our capacity to be effective and to connect. Thanks for that. Okay. Any other thoughts on diamond, smoke as qualities?
I thought the difference between smoke and mist is interesting because you have more of a relationship with fire, with the smoke and the heat that comes with that airy curling motion, whereas with the mist you have more of a wet and condensing or clinging aspect to it as well. So it actually changed. I tried a little bit of both, alternating, and it changed the feel of the motion a little bit.
I'm going to play with that. Thank you. Yeah, I agree with you. The mist is definitely a little bit more watery when I think about it that way, or fog. Yeah, nice. Very nice. Thank you.
Sensei, I just noticed that I was more aware of my foot's connection to the earth during the smoke and the mist. The other ones, I was kind of more bang, grounded for whatever reason. And then it just really made it more of an interesting connection with my feet during that hadn't woken up yet.
Aha, I like it. So sometimes it's so interesting that we work with a quality and there's these unintended little experiences and insights like Kat was talking about that arise. And I think for me, it's really important to work with qualities because when I do that, I tap a part of myself that's bigger than just this flesh and bones. And of course, in Aikido, to me, that's key. Being small, being a woman, now I'm older, I need to be able to tap something much more than just this physical place. And so what are the sort of concentrations and focuses that I can use so that I can develop that, those feeling qualities, and also that sense of going beyond my physical body. And that's when I've worked with some of the Shihan, I've had the great fortune. It's like I often just get near them and then my energy changes. And that means that their presence is so big. And so I think one way to develop a bigger presence is to work with these qualities, because when we do, they come through us and go out into the world. It's not just I do the movement in that kind of case. So to play with a little bit more that sense of how do we develop an expansiveness or a bigness. I'm gonna invite us to do a few two-step moves together. And as we do that, to have a sense, if you can, as you're doing the two-step move, that not only do you go to the walls of the room, but you go through. Those of us who've trained in big dojos, when you're teaching, you need to fill the room. So imagine that it's the size of a large dojo. And our job is to fill that space. And quick story, I was years ago, a fellow came to Aikido of Tamalpais, and he was training with us, and he was a teacher from LA. He was an Aikido teacher. And he had this huge, wide presence, but there was nothing above his head that I could discern. So I asked him, does your dojo have a low ceiling? And he said, yes. And I realized his energy had developed itself to fill his dojo space, which was big this way, but low ceiling, so he didn't have energy above his head. He didn't feel big that way. He only felt big this way. So let's see if we can get that sense of, even if you have a low ceiling in your house, go through the ceiling, around us and around. So let's do a few two steps together. And as we do that, I want us to really have a sense that we're reaching out through the walls and our energy is growing. So doing a few two steps. And as you do them, really letting the energy flow out. And think up too. High above us. Down to the earth below us. Sending the energy out. Think behind us. Think to the sides. And then let that presence be filled with the quality of your choice. We've worked with a few different qualities. So pick one of those qualities and fill the space with that quality. And let that quality extend above your head, below your feet, out through your arms and fingertips, around you. Fill the space. And if you can, extend out beyond. And then without any effort, just invite a little more, a little stronger. Just have a sense that it's there. A little bigger, a little brighter, a little stronger, whatever quality you're using. Two more. Okay, let's stop for just a moment and then just take a moment and stand in it. Just see if you can have a sense of that presence around you, running through you, above you, below you. and you're much bigger than your physical body, filling the environment, filling the space, extending out beyond it. Okay. So as we stand in it, I hope you can still feel some positive residue, that there's something bigger, that we get beyond just this limited body. So I want to check in and see if anyone was able to find a quality and have a sense that there was something growing energetically.
I feel like the energy is still moving around me.
Nice. Beautiful, thank you. So I'm just going to encourage us, because I know we're coming a bit to the end, to not let ourselves get small, to keep that sense of bigness. And throughout the day, it's good for our health, our mental health, our physical health, to have that sense of presence around us and to have a sense that we're connected to qualities, to something bigger. And we can bring that not only to our Aikido practices that we do, we can bring it to our everyday lives. And we can start to be like that. And I think for me, that's the importance of training, is so that I can take it off the mat and bring it into my life, bring it into my psychological life, my emotional life, to have a sense of the tasks that I do, I bring some quality. If I go to the grocery store, when I'm out in the world taking walks, that I can have a quality that I can radiate, so that I'm not limited to just Wendy and her personality and her issues. There's something more. And so Aikido practices, when we do that, wake us up and remind us. And then I think our job is to take it into the world. And Sensei talked a lot about aligning mind and body. And so one of the things I've been doing in my weekly Aikido class is working with a bokken. You don't have to work with a bokken, but if you have one, you could grab it. And we'll just end with a little mind-body alignment. If you have, if not, you can just use your arm to make the cut. It's just going to be a shomen cut. So if you have a bokken and you can grab it. So one of the things that we do in leadership embodiment, and I've been doing with this weekly Aikido classes, is I have a statement that I say out loud, and then I take the bokken and I send it out. And it energizes me, and by saying my statement out loud, I'm bringing my mind, and then I make the cut with my body. I'm connecting my mind and body and energizing it so that I can accomplish this intention. So it can be a very simple statement. I'm committed to, or I wish to make a contribution in the world. I'm assuming we all do. Or it could be something specific, a project that you have, maybe a book or something you're working with. So let's take our bokkens out. And what we're going to do is a little ritual that we do. We say it and we cut. I'll just take you through it because we don't have a lot of time. So taking a moment, bringing that quality that we worked with through us, inviting it to come through us, through our body, through our bokken. And if you're using your arm, through your arm and out. And then we're going to say our intention. I wish to bring courage and resilience to people at this time. And then we're going to make a cut and send it out. And we'll say it again, bringing that quality through us, that bigness. I wish to bring courage and resilience to people at this time. Send it out. I wish to bring courage and resilience to people at this time. Send it out. And again. And now we're going to give a kiai. Hi. So we're going to do it again so we can get a little bit more going, get the momentum, that repeating. So bringing the energy from the sky, from the earth, inviting that quality to come through you, the one that resonates with you. Have something that you want to really manifest in the world. What do you want to accomplish? Let's speak it. I wish to bring courage and resilience to people at this time. Send it out. Again, I wish to bring courage and resilience to people at this time. Send it out. Again, I wish to bring courage and resilience to people at this time. Cut once. Cut again. And end with a ki. Hi! And for a moment, just stand in it and have a sense that you had an intention, you spoke it, you organized it, you clarified it, and you sent it out into the world. All right, let's put our bokens to our side. If you don't have a boken, we could just stand for a minute. Just let all that resonate with you a little bit. Nice. And if you have your boken, you can put it down now. So I always feel when I've worked a little bit with a boken or a jo or a stick that I have more energy because my presence has had to expand to manage the tip and beyond of that. And so I think when I've been reading a lot about what O-sensei said in his words during this pandemic, teaching my weekly Aikido classes, he really talked about aligning mind and body and spirit. How do we bring all three? So I really encourage us to take the time to articulate what it is that we'd like to accomplish, and then use Aikido gesture and move or boken to really energize that intention so that we don't compartmentalize something we want to do with a movement practice, but it's all one. So let's end as we started with just a little bit of heaven and earth breathing, and then I'll have a check-in before we bow out. So as we stand here, inviting that quality to come through us from above, from below, from around us, drawing the energy up from the earth, reaching toward this heavens and extending out into the world, and drawing it up from the earth, reaching for the sky, sending it out into the world, and again. Two more. One more. And then standing in that for a moment. Okay, just one last check-in before we bow out. I just want to see if there are any thoughts, questions, insights with this, especially the practice of saying something and then using the boken to cut it into place.
I have something to say. Thank you so much. Really, really, really enjoying this. And it was having me, it's brought me to thinking about wood and how all the elements and, things we just worked with would have an effect on wood. What would water do to wood? What would fire do to wood? What would air do? And then it just made it really, really interesting to kind of be able to think about it that way. So I really appreciate it. Thank you for grounding us when we all need it so much right now. So thank you.
Thanks, Kat. That's a very cool idea. Thank you. Anyone else?
I really enjoyed your words on applying those feelings to everyday life, not forgetting about that when you walk off the mat. That's something I try to.
Thank you. Very important. Any other thoughts before we end? Okay, so I know we've come to our time, and I would like to, as before we bow out, just take a moment and have a sense that we're dedicating or sending the energy of our practice today out into the world for the benefit of all beings. And a moment of appreciation for our friends and training partners, for our community, for teachers and mentors that we've had, for O-Sensei's vision, and for our own hearts, bringing ourselves to the practice. And let's bow out. Domo arigatou gozaimashita.
Sensei.
So Lisa Sensei, thank you so much for inviting me, and the community, thank you for open and willing to explore some of these things. I certainly hope we'll all be together again in the future where we can physically connect and touch. And I wish everybody lots of our tagline, noble, awesome, shiny moments, both in our Aikido practice and in our lives.
Thank you
very much. I'm very grateful that you made the time to come and spend with us and to share with us. So thank you so much for that.
Oh, it's my pleasure, anytime. And I'm happy to be part of this community. And thank you so much, Lisa, for the energy that you've been created around this community.
Well, thank you. It's everybody creating it. It's the
It is
people creating it.
Yeah.
Our next December, we are veering from the second and fourth Sunday protocol that we've had up till now because of the holidays, the end of the year holidays. So the next Sunday series will occur on December 6th. I put it in the chat if people saw it. And the instructors, the first instructor is going to be Sal Forestieri Sensei, who's with us today. Hi, Sal. And the second instructor is going to be Kat Strata Sensei, who's also with us today. Hi, Kat.
Hi, Kat.
Sensei.
So I hope you all will, if you have the time, join us. And please let your dojo mates, your Aikido friends, even people who don't know Aikido, to just join us.
Okay. Fantastic. Thank you, Lisa. Thank you, everybody, for being part of it. And she's frozen.
Thank you, Sensei. That was a very nice class. Yeah, she had some difficulties earlier with her internet, so she fell off and hopped back on. So hopefully there was no disruption to everybody else. I didn't see any disruption, so I think good. But so.
Have a wonderful rest of your day, and I hope to see you soon.
Thank you, Wendy. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye, Gary.
Thanks.
Yeah, she lost connection.
See you later.
See you, Greg. So, yeah, I wasn't able, I don't know if the recording breaks when that happens or not. Do you know?
I only know if you record local, any hiccups you have,
Are going to be
put into it.
Yeah, so
Right.
she recorded to the cloud, so she should be okay. But afterwards, when she tried to hop,
Maybe, I have no idea.
it made me the host. And then when she came back on, she was the host again, but I couldn't send her a chat message. It wouldn't go to her. It said Lisa Tomoleone is not on the call on the Zoom. So it was really interesting. I couldn't send her a
Weird.
message. Yeah. So I didn't know if she was going to maybe hop back in or not, or I thought I'd just check because, yeah, she disappeared and I thought, oh crap. Oh, there she is. She was having, I figured she was having some challenges. Hey there.
We dropped internet twice during this, after me saying we got good internet here because it's Wi-Fi.
That's why you do co-hosts work well that way, because then somebody can help still spotlight and do that. So I didn't know any difference, and Gary was saying probably the recording's fine because it's in the cloud.
Mm-hmm.
But
I said I don't know.
Oh,
I said I don't know because it's in the cloud.
okay, it's mysterious. But I tried to send you a chat message directly, And it's right now I'm trying and it says Lisa Tomoleone is not in this meeting.
Huh.
So it's really bizarre, but
Oh, it says it's recording.
yeah. So you'll have to check that recording